邀请所有现场的勇士伙伴们拿起折扇，跟上音乐的节拍，一起来享受我们的光雕秀。
比赛要开始喽，赶快回座位坐好。
比赛快开始了，不要再滑手机喽，不然就把你手打断。
所有喜爱台湾篮球、支持台北富邦勇士的朋友，大家晚安，大家好！欢迎大家在今天6月10号星期六的晚上，来到和平篮球馆，要来一起陪伴勇士的完成第6件事情。 所有的朋友们，记得先换上渐层球衣。为什么要送给各位渐层球衣呢？就是要邀请所有的勇士伙伴们陪着勇士队一件一件事情把它完成。所以，请今天一起捍卫主场，拿下我们的目标，一起陪伴勇士完成第6件事情。先给自己最大的掌声！ 那么在今天我们在赛前除了有许多的礼物还有活动之外，在2楼商品部也有许多的新品上线，也欢迎大家把握时间一起去选购。而说到比赛，在今天的比赛，也希望大家将所有的声音跟力气都来借给勇士队。最后，在欣赏我们年度最佳啦啦队要来出场演出之前呢，想先请大家给这一季进场的自己掌声鼓励。 在这边，想要跟所有支持勇士的伙伴们说声谢谢你们，因为有你们在的地方，无论在哪里，那里都是勇士的最佳主场。接下来，请继续用你们最热情的掌声，一起来欣赏年度最佳啦啦队富邦 Angels。
Dun, dun, dun. Showtime, time to shine. Showtime, your time. Got a bevy of bad boys with ankle monitor. They hit her with bandos, they quick to pop off. Give a fuck about landlord when we some outlaws. Baby, you can get Randolph, a nigga not soft. Ooh, bitch, you better. Ooh, bitch, you better. Ooh, bitch, you better. Cause you should know better. If you got a dick, then dick them down. If you got a grip, then make them drown. Drop it, drop it, drop it, drop it, drop it, drop it, drop it. Work it, work it, work it, work it, work it, work it, work it. Drop it, drop it, drop it, drop it, drop it, drop it, drop it. Work it, work it, work it, work it. Every business day.
次掌声送给年度最佳啦啦队富邦Chen。
现在介绍双方球员登录名单，首先介绍客队新北国王队。 球衣背号3号陈俊南，背号7号林立人，9号李凯燕，10号简佑哲，17号苏世轩，19号林金榜，24号洪志善，25号聂欧马。先发球员 Starting by 背号1号后卫林书伟，5号中锋穆伦斯，6号前锋杨敬敏，50号中锋戴维斯，55号后卫曼尼高。新北国王队总教练 Head Coach Ryan Marshall， 助理教练马克，球员发展顾问许浩成，首席体能教练张崇熙，体能教练刘振宇，数据分析师林振宇，防护师邱博凯、吴崇豪，球队经理洪志虎，总经理毛家恩。 球迷朋友们，迈向连霸的路上，有你们的支持，加上我们的努力，才能抵达最终目的地。只有我们是唯一能挑战3连霸的冠军队伍，全队始终如一，拼命奋战，誓言拿下第一 ，Only one goal， 全力冲向唯一目标，挑战 P.LEAGUE 史无前例的3连霸，打造独一无二的勇士王朝。
对我们来说，赢球就是我们的文化。
富邦勇士也完成了在 P.LEAGUE 的2连霸。
面对的是季后赛，是不可输的比赛，是要团结，你就会有强大的心，可以去战胜一切。富邦每一个球员都是可以为团队做出一些贡献。
We gotta play with some pride because we're the best team in Taiwan.
场真的首战要暴扣了，给祥军的队东部扣是最祥军，汉城再拿到转身的跳投球，防过来，受到石伯恩的歪腰门地下投进了3分球。
目标3连霸，台北富邦勇士的球迷们准备好了吗？现在介绍地主队台北富邦勇士球员登录名单，让我听到你们的尖叫声！首先欢迎勇士吉祥物皮尔。 球员出场背号0号后卫3线一哥南洋小跑车赖廷恩，背号8号前锋勇士队逆流而上的鲑鱼 Number 8周桂宇。 背号10号前锋 Number 10， 来自法国浪漫射手 Steve 张文平。背号11号后卫3分冷箭，锋芒内敛 KJ 洪凯杰。 背号15号本土中锋禁区魔兽吉米谢宗荣，背 背号21号中锋 Number 21酷帅高冷曾祥军。背号23号大前锋 Number 23勇士队 Jordan Smart 石伯恩。背号24号后卫敢拼敢打破茧而出 DJ 简廷照。And now the starting five， 下面介绍先发5人。背号3号得分后卫 Number 3 Jet 海线领袖台湾喷射机张宗宪。背号17号 Number 17德州传奇 Championship 迈克辛特利 Uncle Secretary。背号13号大前锋我梦林梦雪。背号32号 Number 32勇士队连霸主力中锋小夫塞瑟夫一个 Zaitsev。最后介绍进场的是背号12号小前锋勇士队精神领袖永远的人气王野兽林志杰。总教练 Head Coach 许晋哲，助理教练吴永仁、江志胜、林伟豪、魏维，体能教练郑维轩，防护师林武章，助理防护师彭玉明，翻译梁兆轩，领队 Chris 蔡成儒。双方球队最后热身。
好的，在球员最后的暖身时间，我们要邀请大家拿起你的折扇，准备要来一起复习，在我们勇士主场要来为勇士加油的应援节奏，也再一次邀请到Fubon Angels来到场中央。好，先请大家将我们的折扇把它折起来，才可以一起来发挥我们的最大的声音，一起来借给勇士。来，所有的勇士。
我手里 All my PLG， 被人气响力货币，球场上不再送到底，分秒必争，撑下去，谁输赢看为定。
2 nights ago, the series moved to Taipei. The Braves are now at home had a poor start, going 2 for 17 from 3, with the only 2 makes by Steve Otanwampi getting in on the action after not playing in a single game in the first round of the playoffs. By the end of the first half, the Kings had a 3-point lead thanks to Kenny Manigault and Byron Mullins combined 24 points, leading the charge. But in the third alone, Chris Johnson and Ira Zaitsev led their charge by a combined 17 points in the frame, cutting the biggest lead by the Kings from 9 down to 1. And the last hero to mention is rookie TJ Jianting-Zhao, 10 points on the game by taking it to the hole and making all 4 of his free throws. Not to forget Beast Lin Zijie finishing things off with a 3-pointer made. So after 2 straight wins, Coach Roger and the Braves are switching things up with 2-time Finals MVP Michael Singletary back in the lineup. And history tells us the Braves don't lose after that opening game of these final runs. But the Kings have 5 players who are announced to have made the All-Plus League and All-Plus League second team. They believed in themselves and are focusing on shortening this series to a best-of-3 from now on, with home court advantage back at their side. Pretty crazy weather we had, as we've had periodic thunderstorms, not in this shot, thankfully saving our cameramen. They have come and gone in the last few days. Heavy bits of rain, so we're glad we're already inside, set up and ready to go for tonight's action. The Braves giving off these special edition gradient of Braves jerseys. And there is our matchup card. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, seniors and youth. Once again, welcome to Hoping Gymnasium, where the new Taipei Kings are up against the Taipei Fubon Braves, vying for the title of Plus League champion. As it stands right now, we are in Game 4 of the best-of-7 series, the 11th game of the Plus League playoffs, if you include the 2 separate rounds in the first round, where the Kings defeated the Dreamers and the Braves dispatched the Pilots. And on the Mandarin broadcast, on the left is Xiaohu Hu Junqi, and on the right 奎哥田宏奎。球迷朋友们，你找到了官方的英文转播，要看小胡跟奎哥的讲评，当然就按到中文的转播连接。但谢谢你的收看，记得 Plus League 的转播都要按赞。I'm Ryan Chen, in charge of the play-by-play here, but Kyle Hudson along with another broadcast. Kyle, as the series might see 2 Braves wins in a row, it's still a really hotly contested series, with the Kings having a chance in every single game, and in fact leading this series game-to-game basis in the minutes and seconds department.
Yeah, thank you for having me again, Ryan. It's good to be here, and like you mentioned, these Kings, they've actually had many opportunities to win the game. I would say they've been up the entire game, first half, coming into the 3rd quarter and 4th quarter, but let's see if they can close out a Game 4 here today.
So there you see on screen Michael Singletary. He'll be in an action after, for himself, certainly a disappointing first game outing, as he's played in every single finals game in Braves history in the Plus League. But we caught up with Aaron Uyongren, #1 assistant on the Brave staff, about how the team has
防守部分先讲好了，防守
figured
就是
themselves out in these
整
finals.
个的强度直接拉成，从季后赛强度拉成冠军赛的强度，就是强度更强。然后在攻击上面的话，就是想办法把整个富邦篮球的团队进攻打得更顺畅一点，而不是一直过多的单打。那这2个东西就是会接着每一场比赛接续会，我个人觉得会越做越好。那在第1场可能会在进攻上面会有一些单调，然后后面2、3场会慢慢的有更多的团队的合作。那在防守上面的话，就是第1场可能一开始我们还没有 match 到他们的强度，但是从第2场可以看到桂宇的跳出来，然后 CJ 的一些布防，然后还有所有我们相信大家看到志杰在第2场对决阿明的防守都做到了非常到位，然后是冠军赛的强度。许教练一直都是一个很敢大胆用自己球员的一个教练。那这个建立在所有练球的时候，这些球员有没有给我们信心？那我们在不管是从开季一直到现在，那我们说的练球上面，其实球员都很专注，然后也很用心的在训练上面，他们也给我们教练团非常非常多的信心，所以许哥也才敢在这么关键的比赛大胆的启用可能之前用的比较少的球员。那现在还有什么 X 因子呢？我相信每个人都可以是 X 因子，那就大家好好的期待一下。
Coach Aaron Uyongren giving a lot in the pregame interview, saying that the Braves' defensive intensity has even taken a step up from playoffs to finals, and they of course want to play a team offensive game, not going one-on-one. One of the particular heroes is Steve-O Zhang Wenping, who during the regular season only 2.2 points per game in only 8 minutes of action, and only a 29% three-point shooter, but 3 of 6 in Game 3 of the finals and end up being plus 10. Critically not highlighted is the 4 steals, as his main assignment is defensively trying to mark Kenny Manigault. And Josh Zokoyer in game 2 tried to go physically, but Steve-O tried to actually turn defense into offense with those active hands and getting some steals. And so Coach Marchand, of course, as it's known, has to go with Kenny Manigault and Byron Mullins, if healthy, as his import duos. Almost need to figure out something more on the chessboard than instead of changing out the pieces on their side.
Yeah, for sure. We saw Steve-O.
I mean, no really big changes. We just need to get back to, like I said, the way we play basketball and the way we played ball all year. You know, playing great on defense and just taking better care of the ball. You know, like I said, we've had a lot of turnovers in the last 2 games. So we just need to, you know, capitalize on their mistakes and just, you know, like I said, hold the defense down and hold them underneath that 93 mark, and we'll see how it goes. So
Byron Mullins seems still confident in his team, and the team is confident in themselves about maybe going back to some of the fundamentals of not turning the ball over. That was a big problem for them in game 2, also being out-rebounded overall. So when you add those things up, too few possessions on the road is a tough task to overcome the team at home and the 2-time defending champs.
Yeah, so like we mentioned, they lost the rebounding war last couple of games, but with Johnson out, he had 23 rebounds single-handedly by himself. So we'll be able to see them try to be more aggressive on the offensive board and the defensive board, and hopefully if they're able to win that rebounding battle tonight against the Braves, I think they have a decent shot at taking this road win.
When we eventually get to the starting lineups, Quincy Davis is actually in there, and so there's probably 2 considerations for that. One is the rebounding, like you mentioned, on both ends of the floor, but 2, Quincy Davis actually fouled out of game 3, having only played 20 minutes. Now that could be a factor of the fatigue, it could be a factor of rotation and kind of being unlucky with some of these fouls, but in alongside with Byron Mullins would have been a great counter to Chris Johnson, who was completely feasting on the local of the Kings in game 3, but now everybody's changing things up. Davis has only started 2 games during the regular season, so we kind of wonder how long he'll be going, as the Kings rotation has notably shrunken just a bit in these finals.
Well, with the Kings being down 2-1, they have to do something new, something different, make some adjustments in order to overcome this Braves team. And, you know, bringing in Quincy Davis in as a starter tonight, even though, like you mentioned, he's only been a starter a couple of times before, it gives a new look for the Kings and could throw the Braves off guard in this starting tip.
A few more notes about the starting lineups when we get to them. Davis's 2 starts, both at home at Shimsong Gymnasium back on March 7th against the Dreamers, then once again on May 9th versus the Lioneers. By that time, the Kings already clinched the #1 seed, and so for rotational reasons, perhaps pushed up to the starting lineup. They love to keep him in this rotational situation, but not quite a must-win game. Of course, not facing elimination, but you don't want to go down 3-1 in the series. 2-2 much preferable. We're getting a look at the stats for Kenny Manigault in the regular season, averaging 18.2 points per game in that top left side. But his efficiency has been reduced quite a bit in these finals, especially shooting the ball beyond the arc. Only 1 for 18, having made the first one in game 3, which probably got the Kings fans a little bit excited. But shooting 3-pointers, hooping is supposed to be his strong suit, where he was 15 for 38. Oh no, there's some mix-up with our graphics. But anyways, his finals so far have been only 13.7 points per game. His calling card, of course, is defense, but as one of the primary ball handlers for the Kings, being a threat to score will certainly open a lot more things up for Kenny Manigault and the Kings offense, who've not had a very high assist total through 3 games.
Yeah, just talking about that 3-point number, it's not just Manigault shooting very poorly from the field, from the 3-point line. Essentially, so far throughout this series, no team has shot over 30% from the 3-point line through these first 3 games. And in game 3, the Braves started off 0-11. So we'll see if these teams can find the ball in the basket here tonight from beyond the arc, which could raise the scoring total a little bit. So we'll see.
Now, fans, as all Plus League games are live streamed on YouTube with video on demand afterwards. If you want to see a little bit of fireworks in these playoffs, of course, watch this game. Hopefully we'll get to see it. But if we're looking to the past, it includes the Kings 16 for 35, or about 46% shooting the three in their clinching game against the Dreamers, who did make it close in the end. There's Coach Marchand and Coach Roger on his side, not changing up the tie, not changing up the suit, as is customary. Park Han will be the crew chief of tonight's officiating staff there in the middle. As we now bring you the starting five for the Kings: Joseph Lin, Kenny Manigault, Amigo Yang Jimmy, next to Quincy Davis and Byron Mullins. All five of those gentlemen made the All-Plus League first team or second team respectively. And on the Brave side, they've also made a change. It's Jet, Zhang Dongshen, Beast, Lin Zijie, Michael Singletary, along with Ray, Ling Mengxue, and Igor Zaisev. Very reminiscent of a 2020 Braves starting five. And an easy lay-in for Beast, as it looked like a lot of players were forgetting which side they were going at to open up the game. I guess Amigo a little unlucky. If you look at the advanced stats, he's going to have 2 points scored on him off the jump. But here we go. The Kings in their new Taipei sunset jersey, as Amigo hits one from the free throw line, and the Braves haven't seen this jersey set in a while in their white kit.
Seeing both teams starting off shooting the ball extremely well. You know, a quick layup and a nice jumper by Amigo. So seeing a little more offensive-minded efficiency come here in the first couple of seconds of this game.
It was an early foul. They're going to call it on Kenny Manigault. Get another look at him tying up Singletary and try to get away with it by putting his hands up, but too late. Little flare screen for Beast, and he's going to continue on to the other side. Out to Zaisev, 20 points in every single one of these finals games, but a big bounce and out of bounds. They say it's for the Braves, with Davis trying to block out Singletary, and less than a minute in, seems like Coach Marchand is going to hang on to his challenge.
Yeah, it might be pretty smart. Don't want to burn it too early.
Well, Michael Singletary, not necessarily a big, still a strong rebounder. Slips it down to Zaisev, who floats it up and in. So a basket on 2 straight trips down the floor for the Braves.
Seeing a lot more movement here from the Kings side. Trying to find an open cutter there. Maybe the pass was a little too far behind Amigo there, but it looks like he had enough space to the rim if Mullins was able to pass it up ahead.
Beast with Manigault guarding. Puts on a move, step back for 3, an air ball, but Ling Mengxue in the right spot. Another second chance as Singletary aims one up and clinks it. Manigault getting past Beast and rolling out the layup. A little unlucky there, but Davis in the vicinity to get it back for the Kings as Mullins tries the bank shot. The Kings, still sponsored by their own branch of a bank, but here at the home of the Fubon Braves, getting one in. Jet didn't want to back down Joe as Zaisev slips and dunks it home.
We're seeing a lot of expertise and patience there from the Braves, just reading the defense. Zaisev reading that defense extremely well. Misdirection on that fake pass and was able to go to the rack.
Byron Mullins too strong, and eventually the Braves secure the rebound, and here they come. Both teams want to play with good pace and space the floor a lot, as Ling Mengxue. Not a huge threat on the offensive side. In a 2-man game with Singletary, the left hand is off. Byron Mullins on the back line as numbers for the Kings. Kenny Manigault will take it in strong.
That was a nice seal out by Quincy Davis there, just tying up Zaisev to just create enough space for Manigault to slip to the basket with very little resistance there.
Beast waiting for the Zaisev screen, working left, slips it in, and Quincy Davis is up for the challenge, and here come the Kings. Good defense as Joseph Lin probing to Manigault to Amigo. He's got a step floating it up and out. A missed opportunity for the Kings. But tied at 6, their defense has been pretty solid, minus that Zaitsev slip. Beast going against former national team teammate in Quincy Davis and throws it right to Manigault. Little 2-on-2 as Amigo will lay it in. Well, the Beast has had his turnover problems, but Kenny Manigault with the extendo arms, always a problem on the defensive end.
Yeah, just a master of reading the pass and just being aware where everyone is. A very tough shot by Jet there.
Batted out, rebound by Monksure. As Manigault will be fouled first as he's committing to the pass.
We're seeing the Kings being very aggressive on the pace side of things. As you mentioned before, Ryan, both teams like to push the ball on made baskets, but also on steals. But you know, just drawing the foul there, just taking it right to Zaitsev, not being afraid, either looking for that basket or that foul there, as the Kings take out of bounds.
Mullins from deep, this time straight through, as the New Taipei Kings now build up an 11-6 lead. Jet with the ball, averaging 10 points per game in these finals, but on a very poor efficiency. Looking for it as B slips down the Monksure, but blocked by Q. And it will go out of bounds for the Kings. Davis with a couple blocks in the first quarter.
It was good rotation there by Quincy, and just having him in the lineup now, having two bigs with Mullins and Davis there. Very, very difficult to overpower him in that situation, and just having him around the rim really alters a lot of shots, and so far we've seen him block 2, so we'll see how this rotation continues to be successful on the defensive end, so we'll see if he can get his offense going.
Jackson entering in as Amigo slips through and gets the left-handed finger roll. Kings taking advantage of their trips as Beast fires away, but it's short. And behind the back, saves it in bounds. Sunshine fresh in the game and way overshoots it. Quick counter by the Kings and another lay-in by Amigo as the veteran is running all over these Braves, and a timeout now called. We're halfway through the first quarter, and the Kings looking strong, trying to tie up this series. Have a 15-6 lead in the early going as we enter our first break of the evening here at Hoping Gymnasium.
我们由一家人所送出给各位的黑笑 Plus， 往右边传，来往各位的右边传递哦，大球往各位的右边来传递。一家人益生菌要来送给大家黑笑 Plus， 加油加油，双手一起扶着大球往右手边来传递哦。加油加油，往右边传。
Welcome back to the broadcast. Be sure to leave a like if you're watching on YouTube, as the Braves probably picked a too heavy of a ball to be passing around in the stands. In the early goings, the Kings up 15-6, mostly on Amigo, half court or in the full court, getting layups behind the Braves defense. It started with that free throw jumper, and then Manigault leading the charge on the fast break, even blowing by Beast. And then this one to finish it off.
We're just seeing Amigo be extremely aggressive on the offensive end, and being a great rim runner as well on these turnovers or long rebounds, just giving his teammates opportunities to pass the ball up ahead for some easy baskets for him to finish at the rim. And that's led to a nice, healthy lead for the Kings this early.
Jet misses the layup after blowing by Joseph. Lee Kai-in, number 9, is in, along with Josh Okoye from opposing teams, as that one is smacked away by Jet. Making up for a really forced jumper and then that missed layup earlier in the game, sticking it in the play, and a clean block on a former teammate and amigo back when they were members of the Dreamers playing in the ABL. Trailing Joe, who uses a screen, and there's a foul as he was making a move.
So far, we've seen the Kings really attack the paint extremely hard and finding their open guys on these rotations from the Braves. So continue to see them having high success around the basket.
Lee Kai-in goes to the basket, but it's KJ, former teammates, who provided enough resistance on defense. Little 5-on-4 that the Braves can't get going. So Jet off the screen, floats it up, and Mullins plays the bounce smartly. And again, numbers for the Kings. So hanging in the air and finishing over Okoye.
It's a tough finish there by Joseph. Kind of bobbled it a little bit and decided to go up with his left hand. Had to switch it there at the last second, but able to have enough touch for the ball to fall right into the basket.
Zaitsev will try from 3. It's good. And finally, the Braves end this scoreless streak.
We see Zaitsev take an open 3 around the wing, top of the key area. So we'll see him try to be more aggressive there, as if he makes a couple of shots from there.
It's Joseph Lin with a fancy footwork, and the lead 10 points. Braves running their offense, as now it's Okoye who's trying, and that one's no good. Byron Mullins with the board in a odd-looking fast break until Amigo settles it down on the left side. Trying to back down to KJ, and there will be a whistle as he was making a move toward the middle. It was Amigo kind of playing the smarts on the entire Braves defense, initially going with physicality, then with finesse, as you see that little push by KJ is what was called. Though I'm sure he would argue that first hit was illegal on Amigo.
Yeah, just a little swipe of the hand and then a bump of the shoulder. Definitely going to be a physical game, even though, you know, Coach Marchand did talk about it in the end of game 2 coming into game 3 about how he thought maybe the game was a little bit too physical and how it's kind of similar to American football. But in game 3, we saw a lot more fouls called. So we'll see how the refs play this in game 4.
And with a couple of free throws made, Amigo with an early 10-point first quarter. As finally the regular starter, Big Sushi, is in there. Deflected pass, and here come the Kings. Looking to end this one early. Joseph Lin off to the left, but Manigault staying in there. Blocked by Z and a miss by James. They're fighting on that side. Finally, they get it in. It's Kenny Manigault to the rescue.
So far, it's just a Kings ball game. Everything's going exactly the way they planned. They're really sticking to their fundamentals so far. Very little turnovers and really sticking to their game plan of pushing the ball and really attacking the Kings. Or attacking the Braves, excuse me.
Okoye missed the layup previously. This time gets the finish as Kenny Manigault let him have the opening. But 23-11 is perhaps the quickest start we've had in these finals. Previously, it was the Kings who blitzed the Dreamers, and the Dreamers doing it back to them in game 3 of that series, as Mullins fouled on the roll. And it'll be the 4th Braves foul. So previously, it was Josh who got to slip around Manigault, catching him with that back leg, so no call. And then over on the other side, obviously the biggest advantage with Chris Johnson and Igor Zaytsev in early is protection, and certainly with CJ's athleticism will help out a lot, and they could use it right now in this game. So the opposite side, it would be need Michael Singletary to be the scoring focal point for their offense, and it's not, haven't quite seen that yet. It was Beast with a couple pull-up threes. It was Jet with the jumper and the missed three. Singletary's only gotten off 2 shots.
Yeah, so far we saw, you know, in game 2 and game 3, Johnson was extremely present on the offensive end and on the defensive end. And even though I would say Singletary is probably a better, you know, ball defender, and he's extremely useful, but
as Big Sushi gets a little revenge on Zheng Xiangjun from a block earlier in the series. Another stop for the Kings as KJ, unlucky deflection, back to Manigault. Out to Venti, he tries from 3, and that's off target. A heave from Singletary as Lighting tracks it down. KJ slipped by a 3, and that's in. So the bench coming alive for the Braves.
That's one thing that we saw in game 3 was the Braves bench players really came out with urgency.
And Quincy Davis has the counter. Still scoring efficiently, but as mentioned, had to commit so many of those fouls to limit his playing time. KJ to Zheng Xiangjun, floats it up and in after that bad miss earlier in the game.
Seeing the Braves here get a little more efficient, just really focusing on getting a lot of open shots, a lot of high quality shots, and so far slowly but steadily coming back.
And an and one by Kenny Manigault, overpowering Singletary even. And with 2 minutes left to go, already up to 29 points for the Kings. Will be only Singletary's first foul. Though Singletary arguing that hand on the ball should be a clean play.
GC's in disbelief there, just as Manigault flexing on him a little bit, showing his strength.
Free throw is missed, but there's a whistle. Seems like a player on the Kings side came in early, and producers see it's Quincy Davis. I wouldn't say a dream start for the Kings, but certainly a much better start. You see Davis stick that right foot in. Deep shot is missed, and rebound to Big Sushi. As we mentioned, typically in the starting unit, but right now put in the secondary team as Davis, a little unlucky with the elbow there to KJ's face. Trying to make an argument with the referees, but it's going to be a foul and a turnover. And from that angle, there's no argument from me.
Yeah, I would say no argument either. Just drag that elbow straight through his face, and good call by the refs, and we see the Braves coming down, trying to make something happen here with the last 1 minute and 38 seconds. Bao lost it there.
It's Lin Jingbang trying to jump in on the steal as the Braves need to face this Kings zone defense. Ball ricocheting to Venti. They have plenty of time to add on to this lead. Backdoor, but it's covered up. And the pass to the hands of KJ was a steals leader at the UBA collegiate level. With a back and forth as Singletary finishes it off. Assist to Zheng Xiangjun down low.
Nice little ball movement there, just really attacking that defense on the fast break and just making sure to find the open man in Singletary and getting that bucket in.
Venti to Lin Jingbang. Taking it in and being physical and finishing it off glass. It's the second time for the Kings. And for a 2-for-1 if you're the team in white. KJ steps into one, and it's off. It's the Kings who now want to slow it up. Having 5 on the outside. Mullen screens and rescreens. Venti jump past to Lee Kai-in, who's too casual and careless. It's going to be a turnover. And a chance for the Braves now to maybe get a 3 and close it to within 10 before the end of the first quarter, which is, relatively speaking, a win for them. Lai Tian leaves it for Zaisev. 1 second left, hops it up in the air, and pretty good skill leaving to get it on the rim, but a botched play by the Braves, and that'll be it for the first quarter, where the Kings really put the pedal to the metal, come out with a 31-18 lead after the first quarter.
双手拍手一起来，富邦勇士 ，1 2 3 here we go。团结一心的力量，勇士的王朝，缺一不可的我们。再一次将你的双手献给勇士，拍手 ，1 2 3 here we go。双手是我们。掌声送给比尔以及富邦 Angel。
好，观众朋友们 ，Go Go 台北台北，一起来！
Catch the post-game press conference on the Plus League YouTube channel, streamed live after every finals game. It was something that we here at the Plus League started last season in the playoffs and continued in this season as well. Of course, the big story coming into the game is the lineup change and the choice to have Michael Singletary, the 2-time finals MVP, in. Of course, giving up Chris Johnston's availability to play for the Braves, and the Kings in the first quarter 4 blocks and forcing the Braves 2-point shooting to only 6 for 18. Lee Kai-in making a move and flying through, but he misses the finger roll, and a unlucky foul on the rebound, as looks like it was Zaisev against James. Kind of flying in on the offensive board. Get another look at Lee Kai-in. He's already missed a couple layups. And that would be the right call on the replay. But for the Braves, more free throws allowed, as TJ Gentile is in for the first time.
Yeah, we saw the Kings have a great first quarter, and you know, that's just a story that's been continuing throughout this finals. In game 1, the Kings outscored the Braves. Game 2, same thing. Game 3, same thing. So they are really aggressive in the first quarter, and they really come out with a fire. And we'll see if they're able to continue that fire throughout the game, as we've seen throughout the second half. That usually slows down a little bit. So hopefully we'll see same efficiency throughout this game.
And from the corner, Zhen Xiangjun knocks it down, as the Kings showing this time a 2-3 defense. Lee Kai-in with a horn set around him. Mullins tries from deep, and that one's in. Byron Mullins with a couple of threes in the early goings here in game 4. 19 points in game 3 was his max. As Chen from the other corner overshoots it. Braves in man defense as JJ with a triple pull-up off. The Kings defense not set. It's a missed 3 from the corner.
We're seeing a lot of quick offense from the Braves. Even though they do have open shots, it might not be the best shot there to take.
Zaisev goes down, but they say illegal screen was going on. It was going to be Ling Jingpang. Another look at Your Zaisev was the one who was going to get the foul received. And Steve-O is going to check into the game.
He did give the Braves a spark on the offensive end that they needed. So hopefully, bringing them in here will...
Zaisev missing the putback. Chen Xiangjun has that one rejected. And there's a foul on the rebound. Chen Xiangjun made the first one from the right corner, but then has been off. Now they call it's going to be on Su Sixuan. In the middle of the action there.
We've seen the Kings be extremely fundamental when it comes to defense, just really timing up a lot of these shots around the rim and making sure to stay vertical and not foul them on these shot contests.
TJ dribbles it out of bounds. Now, Byron Mullins, maybe his advice can apply to the Braves, who are starting to add up to these mistakes. And of course, it doesn't always just show up in turnovers. They've also missed several layups as well. Singletary shadowing Manigal as Kyle takes the mid-range jumper. That one's halfway down and out. Back into man defense as they floated past to Z. Popped out to Steve-O. He tries, but that one's in and out. And out of bounds, they say, off of a King.
Just a good ball movement there by the Braves, just really penetrating that defense and making the extra pass. As we see, even though Zaisev did secure the rebound, Mullins did poke it out there. So good call by the refs, keeping it Braves ball as the Kings now take possession.
Up by 16. They rotated to JJ. Bad closeout by Steve-O. To the other corner. Still playing with it. Lee Kai-yen forced to take a shot block, but Davis right there, and at least it'll be a jump ball.
Yeah, maybe that was just an example of overpassing by the Braves. They had a lot of shot opportunities that they could have taken. Just that one more mentality. Burns a lot of seconds off the shot clock there and was forced to take a tough three-pointer, which was blocked there at the end.
Shared possession, and the arrow going toward the Braves, who previously had to face the Kings zone and now manned up. Driving kick action as Singletary from 28 feet. On the reload, no. Fight for the rebound, eventually won by Manigo, who puts the moves on. Little 2-on-1 as Byron Mullins misses from close, and then combines for the putback. Well, previously, Joseph to Byron Mullins on the fast break was a missed opportunity. This time, at least they put it back on a second effort.
Yeah, the combination of Hugh and Mullins down there grabbing those offensive rebounds. The Braves didn't come back on defense, and that's just an example of how important it is.
And another missed three by the Braves is Kenny Manigault getting his second one on the series, and another timeout called as it might be a finals game, but it's been completely one-sided, 41-20, as we are into our second stoppage. of the first half. We have the following messages for you, the viewing audience, before we're back to the action.
要跟着富邦金控一起 run for green， 这个小朋友不错哦。这边有没有？这边有吗？这边有吗？大声一点！这个板子有创意。好，拿到小球的6位参赛者，记得在第2节打完，我们要来到两边篮筐后方来集合，一起来参加我们的中场游戏。 继续来跟着富邦金控一起 run for green。
On a Saturday night, another sold-out crowd here at Huping Gymnasium, but the Braves, for a second straight game, absolutely struggling shooting the ball from the outside. But unlike in Game 3, where there were still 27 of 58 overall from 2-point range, in tonight's action, sub 30% from 2, sub 20% from 3, and the bigger problem, in another sense, is 0 free throw attempts, as the Kings have been playing pretty stingent defense, allowing their share of open threes, to be fair, but if the Braves aren't hitting on them, it seems like successful strategy.
Just a lot of settling for shots from the Braves. I feel like they're not really trying to take what's theirs in terms of being aggressive on the offensive end. They're really trying to take one of these, one-on-one really tough shots, and over time, it's not very high percentage.
Jet finally with his first field goal on the game. He's only shooting 26% on the series, 40% during the regular season. We always talk about the high difficulty of shots. A tip pass by Singletary, and finally a stop. He spaced it out as Singletary takes on Joseph and scores. And quickly a timeout by the Kings after a turnover and then a fast break answer by the Braves. Though the referees are not too happy about the argument posed by the Braves on that no call there.
You see the Braves come out with a lot more energy that we haven't seen in the first quarter, and around the first half of the second quarter, they blitzed that ball screen and really gave Joseph a little scare maybe on that double team, and was able to get a high pass there off of Mullins. And they really took advantage and took it down to the court, looking to score.
No, good news is Jet with that made shot, and Singletary finishing it on the fast break over Joseph. But in some sense, understandably, that probably more so or less frustrated with himself. Minus 17 on the game so far, and obviously we can detail the box score line from Game 1. Eventual double-digit victory for the Kings to open up the series. While on the Brave side, still 7 minutes and 31 seconds in the first half to cut into this lead, and they were able to close the 9-point deficit in just a couple minutes in Game 3. Now on screen is the playing time of the under 38 squad out there, which is not exactly true. It's actually the 38 and over club. Chris Johnson from left to right in the light blue. It's regular season first round, and then the finals. Amigo's seen his playing time go up, and so has Beast. But meanwhile, Quincy Davis has kept about his pace, and Johnson obviously only played one game in the first round, but sitting out of tonight's action. Now, a point for the Braves, at least, in Game 2 against the Pilots, and then Game 2 against the Kings, they've had their junior squad, so to speak, step up. And they could use everybody in this game as a deflected pass goes out of bounds.
Yeah, so far the Braves are on a little bit of a run, but the Kings don't really need to be too aggressive in terms of, trying to get those points back. They do have a healthy lead so far, just they need to play their same game plan that they have the first and, the beginning of the second quarter, and they should be all right. So even though Braves on a little run, they just got to keep doing the same things they've been doing, just like that shot right there.
Manigault with a pretty jumper on the baseline out of bounds play. Keeping up the pressure. Beast. Switch on to Mullins. Over to Jet. He'll try from 3. No. Joe over Singletary and Zhen Xiangjun, but a missed layup. Careless pass by Jet, but out of bounds.
We're just seeing these Kings offense just really taking it to the Braves. They don't want to waste any time. And, with the Kings keep pushing the ball like that, that forces the Braves to come out and really get back on transition defense, which, wastes energy and could mess up some rotations later on in the game.
Like this, it's Zaitsev guarding Amigo as they floated in for Mullins. He finishes, yes, through some contact. As the total for the Kings now up to 45 points. Beast has had a cold hand. Sands one crucial 3 in the last minute as there's an illegal screen. Looks like it's going to be on Igor Zaitsev against JJ.
This is the point of the game where the Braves can either step up and try to take this game back possession by possession, but the Kings are trying to shut that down, really trying to play solid offense, trying to get high quality shots and getting stops on the other end.
Kenny Manigault finishes tough. Previously, I need to correct myself, it was Beast. And hand swiping backwards was the foul called. The officiating hand signal is the same as an illegal screen, but it's an offensive foul, more or less, as Beast maneuvering through and getting the bounce. Kings space it out. Braves showing a zone as JJ from the corner is no good. Chance to run. Numbers for the Braves as Zhen Xiangjun kind of tricks everybody with that finger roll and deep pass, and here come the Kings on the counter. Manigault avoiding the out of bounds and then spinning it off target.
Just seeing the pace just really increase here in these last couple of possessions. Each team really trying to push the ball and take advantage of maybe some missed rotations coming back on the defensive side.
Mullins with kind of a hot hand, that one's short. And kind of giving up on the play by jumping that one as Singletary gets in for the fast break layup. And perhaps the easiest points of his evening. Just like that, the deficit cut to 17 as it's kind of the Kings who are lost focus on the last few back and forth possessions.
The Kings definitely need to just really get back into the flow of things, as a couple of bad possessions can lead to even more bad possessions down the road. So we'll see how they're able to regroup here after this timeout, after this little Braves run here.
So the best way to score is, of course, on the fast break, numbers advantage, and accounting-wise, if you could do it as fast as you can, that'll definitely help in any comeback effort. Michael Singletary, 6 points, 7 rebounds so far in his evening. Previously in the finals, 29 points per game on 50% field goal shooting score, plus 115 overall before game 1 of this year's finals. The big tricky thing for the Braves when they make this roster choice, as opposed to Johnson and Zaitsev, is how much their local bigs have to play, because in game 1 they had 4 of those local bigs between, of course, Zheng Xiangjun, Brendan Smart, Jimmy Xie Zonglong, and who am I missing? Ray Li Mengshi, of course, who started tonight's game. 45 minutes played, but in game 2, 8 minutes by Zheng Xiangjun. Game 3, 10 minutes by Jack is all they asked for out of their local bigs, playing Zaitsev and Johnson around 4 perimeter players a lot of the time, but now switching up to this pace has actually suited the Kings much better, even on the road.
Kings definitely taking advantage of, with Johnson being out, as he really did a number on them for game 2 and game 3. So they're really making sure to take advantage of what they can and getting a sizable enough lead to where they'll be able to handle the pace. They'll be able to set the pace throughout the rest of this second quarter and throughout the second half.
Little zone look by the Braves as Amigo, the Kyle on the wing. Joe catch and shoot opportunity, but that one's airballed. Manigault will fly out of bounds, but land safely.
And we saw in that possession, no one was moving. They were playing a 5-out offense, but the thing was the Braves are playing pretty much a 5-out zone, so everyone matched up fairly well. No one was really flashing. No one was coming to the middle, which is a weak spot of that zone. So we'll see if the Kings can adjust to that in the next couple of possessions, or else they're just going to come up empty-handed.
Jet took aim out to Zaitsev. Can he get a shot off? He does from the elbow, but that one's clanked right to Zheng Xiangjun, and a whistle from the backside. Will be the 3rd team foul on the Kings.
Maybe just a lack of focus there from the Kings, just not finding out a man to box out. We saw the ball come right to Jack there.
But they cough it up as Kenny Manigault took a spill. Hopefully he's all right. Zaitsev the board. Quick drag screen for Beast. From his free throw line is an easy bucket. That's, Kyle, what I call the Taiwanese, shall we say, experienced man basket. Because if you go to the parks, all those Apes can make that shot 100% of the time. Amigo tries off with the 1 foot. And a chance for the Braves to make a run, but Davis providing enough pressure, and Beast will have to run up for it, beating the 8-second violation. Now with a lane, he goes right to the cup and scores. It's Lin Zijie showing a little life here, as the Kings, after that previous timeout, is still kind of sleepy to finish this half.
Yeah, we've seen that happen a lot, actually. They're really not as experienced in closing out quarters as you think the Kings should be, and the Braves are really taking advantage of this lapse of concentration and focus from the Kings and trying to get as many points on the board as they can to cut down this deficit before this half.
And Beast taking a hit. He's just now getting up off the hardwood. It looks like Amigo was in the area code, ready to run down on offense, and he's already there. The 14th foul by the Kings as we get another look. Joe, again, kind of jumping before the clock and then allowing a drive, not keeping at low center of gravity, as you see over here. Some kind of funny business as Beast lost his footing, and Zheng Xiangjun kind of tugged on the roll. Kind of curious as who that foul call would be on, as obviously there was plenty of contact going on in a little 2-man action. Of course, cognizant and wary of Beast either whiplash or hopefully not the back of his head hitting the hardwood. Didn't really see anything malicious, but obviously just a scary possible injury situation. As Kobe coming out from the replay monitor, number 13 official, part of the Plus League crew from the very beginning. Looks like it'll just be a sideline out of bounds. Overall on the series, if we're looking at those two gentlemen, as look, it's Gavin Littleton, Taiwanese player who's now in the mainland CBA, sitting alongside of CEO of the league, Charles Chen, taking in the game. After we've seen Chen a few games in a row. Now we just need to get Benson leaping. Oh no. And don't forget Ma Jinhao as well, as Beast tries to tough step back, and he's hot.
We saw Beast last game maybe not have his best offensive performance, but really coming out here in this second quarter, really just putting the ball in the basket, giving the Braves the best chance they can to try to win this ball game, and bringing a lot of energy to his teammates and to the crowd.
Zoned up. Zheng Xiangjun comes in with a help, as a through pass doesn't get to the mark, and a Kings chance to go on the break. Joe slips to Davis for an easy dunk.
Yeah, we've been talking about it all series. Just good defense, at least a good offense, and you know, just that miscommunication maybe on that play there gives a lot of fast break opportunities for both teams, and it seems like the Kings have really been taking advantage of that.
Z, slip of the hand, forces it up. It's going to be an air ball right to Manigault, deep pass to Joseph Lin with the left hand. Back-to-back fast breaks for the Kings on miscues by the Braves.
Kings have really tightened up their defense here in this last 2 minutes or so. It seems like they were struggling to contain the Braves offense.
Jet, after a pump, misses the jumper, and again a chance to run for the Kings, who got a 5-on-3 going on. Li Kaiyan can't finish, and that one ruined by Zheng Xiangjun. Manigault giving it a try, but out of bounds off of the Braves. And at this point in the time, the 5 for the Braves are not doing the job. Kind of, we can say mercifully, a miss by Li Kaiyan if you're a Braves fan. Number 9 is so far 0 for 6 from the game, as get another look at Manigault, still playing hard. Singletary guarding him, going left, and a foul call from the baseline lead official. And Singletary initially offered an argument, but now going quiet. Let's get another look. Manigault, previously, if you go to the scouting report, will almost always reject the screen and drive right, but this time the screen came from the right and he rejected it and went left. First free throw is sunk.
The Kings have really turned up the intensity the last couple of minutes and really want to end this half the right way and get some momentum going into the second half. And got a missed free throw there, but the Braves definitely have a lot to talk about in the locker room once this 40 seconds are up.
The free throw margin, you see previously 7 by the Kings, none by the Braves, but the foul, 7-8, a Singletary again off the mark. And a missed chance for 2 for 1, but any score here would really make it hurt for the Braves. TJ's in with the green Viper sneakers in the zone look. The Braves do have a foul to give, but Joseph launches and he hits it.
That's a tough shot there by Joseph, just winding down the clock, just trying to take as much off as possible, not to give the Braves a tough look, but good defense there by the Kings to end out this first half with a pretty healthy lead.
55-36 as the Kings want to even up the series here in Game 4, and the Braves might have a big test coming up for the second half. They've looked quite awful in the first. We'll go to halftime and break things down from Hoping Gymnasium.
球员是我们的周桂宇，所以也请比尔来帮我说出2位朋友可以获得由欧所提供的欢乐冰封凉感超舒适极厚泡棉床垫。第1位6007，赶快来到2边篮筐后方来集合，待会领奖哦。再来第2位1891，1891，1891，6007跟1891可以获得由我们欧比所提供的。 超舒适的极厚泡棉床垫，我们待会来领奖。好，拿到小球的朋友赶快来哦！来有6位朋友，我们要进行的是摇呼啦圈，然后最快将我们的板子，将我们需要的板子拿到中圈之后，就可以来获胜，并且要回答出我们这一次富邦金控邀请大家一起 Run for Green 的相关环保的问题。 好，也先请大家可以来看向大荧幕，拿起你的手机，先来扫描一下，一起来玩我们线上版。我们富邦金控邀请大家 Run for Green 的游戏，可以来看一下你大荧幕，或者是拿起手举牌，我们上面的 QR code 扫描一下，来参加我们在网络上的相关游戏。没有办法跟他们一样来到场中没关系，可以扫描在线上一起体验玩游戏，抽奖品。 好，还有没有6位朋友？还缺2位朋友，还缺2位朋友。来哦，拿着小球赶快来，2位朋友。好，我们先让第1回合的2位出来，好不好？好，看来都是小朋友。好，我来跟你们说明一下游戏规则。来，我们来中间。好，一左一右。待会来仔细听我这边哦。待会你们要边摇呼啦圈。 所以呼啦圈怎么摇？我们要对套上来之后，边摇呼啦圈，然后一次出去可以带1个板子回来。摇呼啦圈，你要往你那个方向。对，好，一次出去带1片板子回来，要带有选手的哦，像是有林志杰，或是有郭幸存，或是有陈金峰。对，摇着过去，然后拿回来，可以吗？拿来这里，拿回来的时候可以不用摇。好，那我们。 一次拿1片哦，可以吗？然后最快一次拿1片，要拿3次，所以要拿3片。3片完成之后，再回答我的问题，答对了就是获胜，了解吗？好，准备，听到 Ready Go 就出发哦。听音乐
，1 2 Ready Go，
加油加油，一次1片哦。好，带回来带回来。好，赶快摇一摇，再摇出，要摇哦，要摇呼啦圈出发，加油加油。 好，最后一次，最后一次。
A little halftime fun here at Hoping Gymnasium in Taipei. Plus League headbands on the official store. Head to pleagueofficial.com/shop. It's Xiaohu for his last broadcast of the Plus League season, next to Mark Teonkwe on the Mandarin broadcast. But on this English broadcast, I'm Ryan Chen, joined by Kyle Hudson, excuse me, as it gotta wonder, did one team come ready to play, or did the other team make a strategic blunder? As we present the combined team statistics, where the Kings 55 points in the first half on efficient shooting. They've not settled for 3 nearly as much as their opponents have been made to. 2 for 19 by the Braves is even surpassing last game's first half low mark. And the Kings are also winning rebounds 37-28. They have a couple more assists, and the turnovers feel like in these playoffs, just like Byron Mullins said, even more magnified, especially when they come in transition. You give up a layup the other way, which has happened both times, more so for the Kings than the Braves in the first half of this game.
Yeah, I would say the Kings had definitely came out to play, like you said, and the Braves just shooting horrendously from the three-point line again, which is definitely killing them, as they've been shooting 19 shots. That's a lot of shots to take, especially from the three-point line, and you only make 2. It's very difficult.
The scoring leaders for the new Taipei Kings, Kenny Manigault, 14 points, also got 14 rebounds. Byron Mullins has pitched in with 13, with a couple deep threes too, and Amigo doing most of his work in the first quarter, where he had 10 points. That's his mark in the first half. Joseph Lin with 9, and Quincy Davis in the starting lineup, he has 5 points. And on the other side for the Braves, Beast, Lin Zijie kind of came alive in the second quarter. He has 10, Zaitsev with 7, Singletary with 6 points. Zheng Xiangjun, despite coming off the bench, he's played the third most minutes. He's got 6 points. And KJ Hongkaijie also pitching in with 3 points of himself. But we talk about the rest, the fatigue, and the overusage perhaps previously about maybe the Kings having to stick with their main guys for a little too long. But it's Zaitsev and Singletary who played the entire first half, and the Braves minus 19. But on the King side, Manigault 20 minutes, Mullins 18.5 minutes, and Amigo relatively easy 14.5 minutes of play for himself. Right now, the rotational and rest situation completely favoring the Kings as we head to the second half.
Yeah, we mentioned from game 3 just the Braves having a very deep bench and taking advantage of that deep bench, but the Kings here are able to get a lot of guys in and, like you mentioned, Ryan, give them a lot more rest, which will definitely help them out in the second half and the rest of the series.
One thing that we did come into the game note-wise was that the Kings have actually had the lead in this series for 91 of the minutes versus the Braves only 52, yet the Braves are ahead in the series, so proving that they can finish games off a little better, as you alluded to during the segment, especially end of quarters. But with this very large lead, you feel like the Braves, if they can even come back in the game, need to put in a real good first 20 so or minutes and then really sprint to the end of that last bit of the game if they even have a shot in this one.
Yeah, you definitely have to shoot a lot more efficiently, I would say, especially from 3. If they're able to get a lot of 3s to go down at a high clip, you know, anything can happen here.
We have the Braves promotional segment coming up, and after that, the start of the second half.
无论你是小值一族还是大气之人，每天存下铜板的金额，就能轻松当台美热门标的股东。无论老司机还是投资小白，都能够逐步累积存股。藉由微笑的曲线，实现你人生各目标。富贵要人帮，存股找富邦。
想买的更多，油钱省更多，网购想更多，店外赚更多，给你多更多，满额优更多。富邦 Costco 联名卡，早早换，好事加倍多。你所知的世界，比你更年轻。每一天，不断出现新东西。我们最好的决定是保持年轻，期待让不同世代同在，谦卑。学习与大地同行，当每一天都活得比昨天更年轻，我们就能翻新时代。Stay Young， 富邦人寿，让地球 Stay Young， 富邦领航永续，荣耀与
每个职业都是英雄，每滴汗水造就我们。因为我们是台之眼啊，郑湘伟。像水一样，我们是台盐英雄特工队。因为水，我们更团结；因为水，我们更健康；因为水，我们无坚不摧。敬所有英雄 ，Drink Amazing， 一瓶到底，超跑给你。台盐海洋碱性离子水，喝起来！
所有的勇士伙伴们，刚刚的比赛真的是太精彩了。而在今天，相信大家都跟我们一起穿上我们的这一件渐层球，一起为勇士加油。而在下一场，我们将要前进我们的客场，邀请大家一起跟我们换上比尔的蓝色 T 恤，让我们的蓝色力量一起到客场继续发挥。穿上应援 T， 带上你的应援道具，小罗折扇，通通来，我们一起相约第5站，6月12号星期1，我们一起在新庄为勇士完成第7件事情，加油！
朋友都到了，回到台上了，Friday都能待在这里，那就太棒了 ，Fridays。
准备好 Run for Green 了吗？
随时 OK。
有一种永续货币，用你的每一步赚取，为地球累积大力量，它就叫
Run for Green。
参加4大马拉松，富邦就为地球种树，做对的事，你就是地球队。Run for Green 永续行动，富邦金控，富邦地球队领航永续。荣耀与你共享。
Samsung Galaxy S23 旗舰系列。
Mia, can you send me that? Sure.
Mia, can you send me that?
Mia,
Will you send me that? Not you, Mia. 我的业无限。
Hi, can you send me that? Sure.
Galaxy S23 系列全新上市。
Better not be no waste of time, bro.
What do you think it is?
Got a coat on Granite Floridas?
Sentimental blue?
Yeah, but I ain't never seen it go out on cement before.
Once again, the previous Neo 19 video board, now A19, showing the finals matchup between the Taipei Fubon Braves there on the left and the new Taipei Kings on the right. 55-36 is the score from the first half here in Game 4. And for the most part, this game has felt that lopsided. Now, there has been 1 or 2 stretches in the first half where the Kings kind of lose focus, get a little careless with their defense, and it almost seems like they don't mind too much, because as long as the pace of the game is at lightning speed, that seems to favor the Kings in the back and forth action. But a note to remember is, starting with Game 3, the series will be 1 game on and 1 day off only for the rest of the way, after 2 days off between Games 2 and 3. So rest and recovery will definitely be a big challenge for the two squads as we feature Beast Lin Zijie, his first half, having to shoulder the load after most of the rest of the squad struggling to score the basketball. And as mentioned, the end of the first half of action, they did get up to 36 points, so could still feel like they were embarrassing themselves, but at least getting to a point total where you still have a feeling that it's possible to get back into this game. But the Kings have looked very strong for the most part in the first half.
I think it'll come out to how dominant the Kings are going to come out here in this third quarter, as they can really put this ball game away if they start off really hot, shoot the ball really well, keep up their offense in terms of transition offense. And we'll see how well Coach Roger coached the Braves here as they come out into the second half.
Right away, the Braves showing off a zone as Manigault probing to the right, then passing it to Mullins from the left side. That one's off. But back the other way, it's man defense for the Kings. They're with their starting lineup as Jet takes the deep two. One thing that happened a lot of the time is the Braves had to get it down to the last bit of the shot clock before taking a hurry shot as Joseph kind of in between the bank and the rim.
And we've seen some quick shots early here from both teams, so that just shows to how fast they want to play. And you know, the Braves definitely have to play a little bit faster if they want to come back from this deficit.
Zaisev from a tricky angle lays it in, and that's how the second half scoring gets started. He's played the most minutes per game in the series at 42. Manigault driving around two, then blocked by Singletary. With a 3-on-2 as Zhouguiyu thinks better of it. You got cross matchups, but the Kings match up.
Get a little isolation action here, but
a block shot by Q and targeted the pass. He smartly bounces it off Beast. I'm trying to argue that it was already out of bounds, or maybe his foot was already out of bounds, but definitely looked like a play that both sides could have gave up on, but I guess could stick to it in this, and smarts by Davis. Another chance to get on the board. Down to Mullins, looking for a pass. Manigault again driving, and this time there's a whistle as it's Zhouguiyu who took an elbow to the face. A little bit unlucky for Kenny Manigault, who again, who's had great drives going on for him, getting past two, even sometimes three defenders by the Braves. Just can't get the ball in the hole.
As we see here, just try to swing the ball over his head. You know, and just clips him with the elbow there. Very unfortunate, not on purpose, so glad to see Josh get up.
He's ready to go as he and Beast are on the side. Now number 12 goes, and there will be a foul, and it presumably will be the first free throws for the Braves on the game. And while you might say that seems unfair, to be fair, the Kings fouls have always been on the floor, and you could say maybe the Michael Singletary fast break is the only shooting foul that would have happened in the first half. They've been, relatively speaking, very disciplined defensively.
Yeah, exactly. Just the Braves, even though they try to push the ball, they usually end up settling for, you know, an open jumper or an open three-pointer instead of attacking the basket. So that's why their free throws numbers are, you know, extremely low compared to the Kings.
Also throw onto it, some of the Kings fouls were offensive fouls as well, so no free throws on those particular instances. Again, zone defense and an illegal screen by Amigo this time.
Yeah, we've seen a couple of illegal screens here throughout this game, so gotta be sure to stay fundamental. Don't push off too much here. We see a little two arms in the back.
Interesting, I think. Oh, that was on Josh Joboyer as Beast from the middle. A little half turnaround shot, and don't look now, but the deficit is 14.
Here the Kings got to get a bucket here to just try to mitigate some of that momentum the Braves currently have at the moment. Some good ball movement.
Joe spinning around for the pass as Manigault lucky to hang on to it. He finishes with 2.
A little blessing in disguise there as it looked like there's going to be a turnover, but Manigault just in the right position.
And a 3 to counter. It's Michael Singletary finally hitting one from deep. Deflected ball as Josh needing to beat his former teammate Joe, and there's 2 points for number 8. A steal and a score as we have a stoppage in the game. A strong run by the Braves, forcing the Kings to a timeout. The second half is underway here in Game 4 at the home of the Braves.
谢谢富邦 Angels， 一起来。
Through just 3 minutes and 12 seconds into the second half, the Braves opening up to a 10-2 run and forcing the Kings to an early timeout. They did save all of their timeouts for the 4th quarter in Game 3, but forced to use one early here. And that'll definitely be somewhat of a changer if the Braves can close in the gap even more so. They certainly have started off very strong, mostly on the efforts of Beast.
We've seen a lot of strong defense, a lot more energy coming from the Braves here, and this is just another story we've seen. The Braves come out extremely hard in the beginning of the second half and really trying to cut down this lead, and the Kings definitely need to step up, stay a little more fundamental, a little more stringent on their defense, and trying to take quality shots.
Joe immediately answers with a 3, a deep one, thanks to the assist of Byron Mullins from the post. He's already got 12 points on the game as Jet trying to drive an Amigo to open on the spin, and that one's good.
You know, a signature fadeaway shot. Maybe didn't need to fade away that far back, but you know, if the ball goes in the basket, then who am I to judge, as we're seeing a lot of back and forth here on the offensive side. It's just who can get stops at the moment.
Deflected pass to Lee Cayenne. He's got an elbow jumper, and that one's flush. So relief for number 9, Lee Cayenne, and the Kings fans in the building. Singletary has got a lane hanging in there, and that one brushed out of bounds. The previous look at Jet as Amigo kind of danced his way out of the way. They whistle and say out of bounds off of the Braves. So some consecutive, or a few sequences of stops as you see Kenny Manigault jumping in there.
See the Kings come up, really attacking this defense here.
Joe, another 3, yes! 2 straight for number 1, former Brave Joseph Lin. creating a little bit more breathing room for the Kings. Zaisev careless with it, and Manigault takes it away. After Lee Kai-yen, he hit a shot early, and that three is through. And just like that, the lead is back to 20 points for the Kings as the Braves, again, running into big problems on the offensive end, turning it over a couple times. And the three-point stroke has been true for the Kings. On the quarter, 3 for 5. And not only have they kind of reversed the third quarter score, they've even surpassed the Braves.
You know, the game of basketball is all about runs, and in the beginning we thought the Braves were going to come out strong and put up some good numbers, fight really hard, which they did. And credit to the Kings here to play some tough defense, jumping a couple of passes, really forcing a lot of turnovers, which leads to, you know, opportunities on the other end. And kudos to them, they're shooting the three ball very well, something that, you know, we haven't really seen that much all season, especially in this third quarter. And with that type of momentum, we could see the Kings really pull away here around the midway of the third quarter as this lead keeps ballooning.
They already had 3 players scoring in double digits, and Joseph Lin really bursting on the scene here. Now he's got 15 to his total. He has 4 assists and 2 turnovers. One note I had coming into the game is he might be an important scorer for the Kings, positive assist to turnover ratio, but you feel like as much as they relied on him, especially in the fourth quarter, 7 turnovers combined seemed to be almost the knock against him, even though it might be a very high standard we put for him, but he was really the only spark for the Kings. But now in this third quarter, Lee Kai-yen has jumped in with a couple of buckets, has been good, and the team defense has really picked up after that initial timeout.
Yeah, we'll see how the Braves come out on defense to try to mitigate some of these three-pointers that the Kings are shooting here on offense. Taking a really tough shot.
And he hits it anyways as Beast leads the Jid, not giving up on the game.
So we see him come out and man here, just trying to make sure that 3 ball doesn't go down, but Mullins takes it anyways.
He spins it in. Good call by you to point that out. He's been too good from outside in this game. Jet will try, but that one's in and out.
See the Kings slowing it down a little bit. Really trying to find a good mismatch. They decide to lob to Mullins.
Assist to Kenny Manigault, and just like that, you feel like the route is on for the Kings.
Kings definitely adapted extremely quickly. They threw a double team at Joseph there off that screen, which gave Mullins enough space to, you know, slip to the basket, and Manigault found him on the other end for that nice little alley-oop dunk.
You see Kenny Manigault delivering the goods as Zaisev did as best as he could, but Byron Mullins too much air. And on the Brave side, once again, the only man who's getting any kind of positive production is Beast, Ling Zijie. This time from the line, but a line drive free throw. Very different for them is typical form.
Yeah, you know, fatigue could be setting in. He's been trying to play his hardest here throughout this entire game, and maybe it's caught up to him now, who knows, but we'll see if he can adjust here on the second free throw.
That one in and out. And like we mentioned with the quick turnaround, kind of wondering, not that you want to give up any game, but how much you stick with your guys as the Braves back to zone. Nigo flashing, and then rejected by Joe. He's trying to take Lighting in on his own. Deflected pass. 1 second left. Zaisev with it. Little 4-on-3. Singletary out to B. Shot fake, and he's going. Right-handed lay-in is good. So at least some theatrics by number 12.
That's just good recognition there. You know, a lot of guys didn't come back from the other end of the court. So really just trying to take advantage of that numbers game and found space down in the lane to finish at the rim.
Lee Kai-yen tried for a deep three on the step back, and that one's through. And I guess it's the fireworks show we were kind of alluding to in the pregame. Now 10 for 21 are the Kings. A little bit too fancy by the Lin-Zijie. As Lai Tian slips with it a few times, lucky to get it back and misses the mark. Had an absolutely major struggle bus in these finals as Lee Kai-yen streaks through and lays it in. And everything going the way for the Kings after that timeout. You want to look back on the replay and the recap. It's 8 minutes and 48 seconds left in the game. The Braves cut it down to an 11-point deficit off of Dokoyer's steal and score. But in quick succession, the Kings have not only equaled that early lead, have actually kept on building on it.
1 minute, no, 1 minute.
Yeah, that's just Kings stepping up on the three-point line, really taking advantage.
And previously we talked about, we alluded to how the Kings didn't have that many assists, a lot of forced into one-on-ones, but in this game, the offense is free-flowing and really a lot more trust in each other, even on fast breaks. And we might criticize modern teams and all teams for settling for three, but Lee Kai-yen, a good demonstration of what a timely cut will do, as we see some of the new Taipei Queens in the building having a good time. As Coach Roger addressing the troops. One thing that I heard earlier, he's probably considering going small with his lineup, as the bigs for the Braves don't present a big enough offensive threat and haven't been able to stop anybody either.
Yeah, right now the Braves need offense as they're down 25 points. But in addition to that, the Kings have been shooting extremely well, and I'm not sure how long they'll be able to keep that up. Hopefully they will, to keep the game pretty exciting in terms of, you know, made baskets. But it all comes down to stops and scores. And the Braves are going to have to stop the Kings a lot, but they're also going to have to score a lot. So if you can get some more offensive-minded players in there, able to shoot the ball well, you know, take the ball to the basket, be aggressive, the Braves at least have a chance to put some points on the board and hopefully get some stops on the defensive side as well.
Lee Kai-yen applying some pressure on TJ. Singletary double screen. Little jump pass, and TJ will try from three, and that one's through. So the youngster trying to fight through that initial resistance and calmly knocks one down. Didn't hit any threes in his 10-point game three. As now Joe getting the Spain pick and roll treatment. Out to Manigault. That one's blocked. And deflected out of bounds. So good defensive effort by number 11 KJ in the corner. Haven't said his name a lot in these finals. Having one of these extended stretches where he might be a little bit invisible, but a block shot probably feels not bad.
Yeah, of course. As we saw in the last possession, Breaks hit a three as
Singletary short, and Zheng Xiangjun in the vicinity. You get a team rebound out of the bounds.
So the Braves have completed one successful rotation. They scored on a three from TJ earlier, and they got to stop here on the defensive end. So now they got to just keep that rotation, keep going if they want to come back. But I mean, if the Kings can keep up offensively, then, you know, it's pretty impossible for the Braves to come back.
TJ out to KJ. The Kings doing a good job matching up. In fact, leaving a lot of guys open. A flurry shot by KJ, at least put it on target.
That's just that one-on-one offense that you were talking about earlier, Ryan. The Braves are really just struggling to get into plays and making things happen.
Lee Kai-yen slip with the basketball, and numbers for the Braves as Singletary slices and dices. He's got the and one. And it Might not be a great consolation, but he'll have a chance for a 3-point play after having his frustrations through the early parts of the game. This time going at Venti and Ling Qingbang. That's a little bit unfair to the Kings veterans on the bench unit, as Michael Singletary with that score and the free throw, now with 12 points.
You know, the lead's cut down to 19 now, so a little under 20 points. And if the Braves want to get close, I would say they would have to cut it to around 12 to 14 by the end of this quarter to have enough time and enough pretty much just offensive pressure to come back. So if they can cut down to that number, you know, there's a chance. So we'll see if how these next 2.5 minutes play out.
Manigault, jump pass, getting it back. And we'll dribble it out of bounds. Much better rotation by the Braves on defense there. Previously, that was the first foul by the Braves on the quarter. You see Manigault, right foot, stepping on the line. A foul on the perimeter. It looks like Lee Kai-yin will send TJ to the line.
We saw this in the second quarter as well. The Kings just having a little bit of you know, lack of concentration and, you know, fundamentals and time of game and things like that. So we've seen the Braves come out a little bit, putting on a little bit of pressure, and, you know, from now on they're going to get free throws for every foul. So that's good. The clock stops. They can put some points on the board.
I think also importantly is match up defensively too. Now the Braves 4 for 7 according to the scorebook provided our colleagues at Formosa Television for this broadcast, taking us the whole way along with Momo Television. They double team Venti, and that one goes out of bounds. That was kind of a curious double team and a result.
Yeah, the Braves just throwing the whole kitchen sink at the Kings at the moment, just keeping them on their toes, and so far they're falling flat on their back. Just a lot of, you know, miscommunication, a lot of turnovers we've seen, and that's led to points on the board for the Braves side. So slowly this lead is getting cut down with 2 minutes left in this third quarter.
Quincy Davis and Byron Mullins in. Jokoyer fakes the shot, steps through, pumps, and hits it home. He's got the extra credit coming up.
Momentum is all on the Braves at the moment, as the crowd's just giving all the players all sorts of energy on that and one there. Beautiful play. Get through a couple of defenders and not only draw the foul, but finish at the rim.
Jokoyer really showed off a lot of good skill on that one drive. Maybe with the eye movement, with the off timing, but does not get the free throw too. The Kings lead is 15 with a minute and a half or more to go. They're facing a zone tipped out of bounds. Will stay with the Kings.
You know, at this moment, the Kings still have control over the game, and they really just need to play at their own pace, play at their own strengths in order to make sure things don't get too close here.
Now in man, Ling Qingbang, nice cut, and he gets the lay-in. So much for the zone defense. Jokoyer now tries from deep, and that one's good. Coming alive, number 8, Josh Jokoyer. Perhaps with some national team duties coming up. He's got 7 points in the third, a perfect 3 of 3 shooting. Venti switched, Mullins crashing through, and he'll get the and one. Nice assist by Venti there. Kind of one of those excuse me fouls by the Braves defense in a scramble there. Previously, it's just Josh taking up the space. The Kings afraid of his drive, giving him the space. And then over here, KJ just crashing into Mullins. But he was the one that took the blow. Mullins is going to come away with the points.
Yeah, we're just seeing the Kings be a lot more active off the ball, which is something that I think has been extremely successful for them. You know, with finding their open shots, but also finding a lot of open cutters, as well as the Braves get a little bit lost on defense sometimes with when a lot of action is going on.
Intercepted pass by Manigault. And an early foul by Josh, as just like that, the air out of the balloon for the Braves. It'll be a sideline out of bounds, though. Maybe it's a little bit too early. But on the game, 66 points by the Braves, 21 of them to their import duo of Singletary and Zaitsev, as JJ catches and steps out of bounds. During the regular season against the Kings, they would score 43 out of the 96 points. So north of 45%. And on the series, only 38 of the 85 points. So the locals putting enough effort. But in this game, it's kind of just Josh and Beast, as Singletary forced into a turnover.
Yeah, we've seen back-to-back turnovers on these possessions from the Kings and the Braves. And, you know, with about 1 or 2 possessions left in this last quarter, you really want to end strong with a nice basket to bring some momentum coming into the fourth.
Mullins steps up for the screen, but Venti picked up the dribble, as Mullins this time driving and blocked. We'll have a chance out of bounds, but a somewhat impressive defensive play. Really impressive given the difference of score. Taking on the 7-foot Mullins. The combination of Singletary and Zhen Xiangjun. Backdoor to JJ. His three is true. Some relief for number 10, who's struggled to find playing time out on the floor. 5 seconds left. A chance for the Braves to go on the attack. It's Josh with the lucky bounce. And it won't be a 20-point deficit, but still the Kings in the driver's seat and already halfway there to a 2-2 series tie. The fourth and final frame coming up after this.
加油加油！来，双手来跟着我们的大球。待会我们球落在的区域，我们就有机会可以获得可乐果最新的口味——山葵口味。还有，继续来传递，小心小心！来，往上往上，小心小心！注意安全。小心小心！好，恭喜你们可以获得可乐果哦，山葵口味。好，恭喜大家可以获得由可乐果所提供的山葵口味。
Plus League 球迷 ，Oh My Basketball 是我本人在 iView 学英文吧，教你篮球的英文术语，搭配 Plus League 影片，打造全新的线上课程。欢迎大家在资讯栏里点连结，一起来学习。Mr. Lin is sitting, I believe, in that second row of the shot. They're trying to frame it correctly, and then in front of him is famous high school basketball coach Huang Wanlong of maybe not so nearby, but kind of nearby Songsan High School. Liu Chen, who we showed earlier in the broadcast, he's also taking in this Plus League championship game. We get started here with Byron Mullins and Michael Singletary, the imports for their respective clubs. As KJ stopped by Venti, no, they call a foul. Stumbled into one there for KJ.
Just throwing that shot up there to try to get some free throws there. As we see, initial pop, just getting the ball up towards the rim.
Free throw made by KJ Honkai-jie, former King. In his rookie season with the Kings, that is. Also wearing number 11, Honkai-jie started 17 out of the 27 games he appeared for the boys in yellow. 7 points per game, only 23 minutes per game action. A little bit of pressure by the Braves. And with 12 seconds left, Venti to JJ. Takes the bump and tries the layup, no, and a foul on the rebound. Byron Mullins in the middle, and Michael Singletary trying to vent to some frustration after that call. And you can kind of understand from that slow-mo replay.
Yeah, Singletary's just having a fairly frustrating night overall, and just compounding that your team is down by such a margin isn't really adding to any of that. So we'll see how the Braves can respond and what the Kings are going to do to try to shut out this game and make sure that there's no opportunity for the Braves to get close.
Now 23 points for Byron Mullins, surpassing his playoff high of 19. Plus Kenny Manigault 16. The imports for the Kings doing their share of scoring, as Chen Xiaojun kind of lucky, but denied by Mullins. A little through pass as the Kings get reset.
Still showing that they're willing to push the ball and put a lot of pressure for the Kings to get back on defense, or the Braves to get back on defense, excuse me.
Venti will try from deep. That one is off. A foul in transition by Ling Jingbang. Not former teammate of KJ, as Ling Jingbang signed with the Kings during this previous offseason, coming over from the Taoyuan Pilots at the time. Now the Taoyuan Puyuan Pilots. KJ flinging it out of bounds. Thought he had contact on the play.
And maybe slip as he was trying to go up as well to kind of corral that ball back in, but unfortunate play there. And here comes the Kings on the other end.
Foul on the perimeter, Zhou. Again, executing that high pressure that the Braves want their youngsters to have out there.
Yeah, really making it difficult on Venti to even get back into the play, and that's exactly what the Braves need at the moment. Down 18 points, got to make some more strong defensive efforts.
But leave Ling Jingbang open for the easy runner.
Yeah, just something that the Braves haven't been doing extremely well. Unfortunately for them, it's just rotating on the defensive end. They're leaving a lot of guys open, and the Kings are just doing an amazing job at finding those guys in the right position and a place to score.
Nice slip pass as Chen gets the finish over the back line. Assist to Singletary on the pick and roll.
We see that high pressure once again, just making it extremely difficult for the Kings to get into their offense.
Mullins will try from deep, and that one goes down. Continuing to add to his strong effort here in game 4 of the series. 4 of 7 shooting the 3 ball as Josh steps through and gets the lay-in.
Seen a lot of offense here from both teams as
good effort by KJ, and just need a few more inches for Chen to stave it in bounds. But the kids for the Braves, some good and some bad in the 4th quarter as Mullins will earn his way on, earn a seat on the bench. More time for Davis and Manick all together out there.
Yeah, we've been talking about how rest and rotations are extremely important, and it seems like the Kings are making sure to make the most of their lead in terms of these rotations and the minutes and rest they're able to give their players.
It's TJ who doesn't use the backboard, and all the grandpas out there are going to be saying, son, use the backboard, out to earn it from the line.
Yeah, the backboard's there for a reason. That's a tough angle to try to make a shot and overshoots it.
I had to look this up recently because of the Ivy bar classes we have going on with the Plus League. Actually, the backboard's original #1 purpose is to prevent members of the audience reaching onto over the rim and slapping the ball out its trajectory into the cup. Back when basketball was kind of open to the entirety of the gymnasium.
Yeah, that'd be interesting to, you know, someone come up one day and be like, oh, why don't we just bounce it off the backboard to make some layups instead of just try to lay it in. Innovation.
JJ from the top. Singletary driving all the way and at least getting a whistle. No. Kind of turning something on the layup. It might be his ankle there. Don't want to see that.
You can see his face just grimacing in pain. Don't want to see anyone injured out there. We get a replay here.
It's stepping on the foot of JJ, kind of in a more or less unlucky play. Mike's certainly put in his share of effort on the floor, of course, in an effort that's been pretty King-sided.
And right there we see his ankle just turn completely sideways. Probably a lot of weight was put on that twisted ankle. Glad to see he's able to walk off.
Braves fans not so happy about the transgressions on the floor. There's Alex Singletary. As you see you get teed up before arriving at the bench.
See some more action on the sidelines.
Now the fans are, and Beast, you can put a few more names to the list of bad behaving individuals in this arena. It won't be our first time seeing a water ball thrown on the floor, though. As to the rules of the league, when the home team figures out which individual it is, they are supposed to be escorted out of the building. Now, as to Beast getting emotional, that's certainly the most anger we've seen out of them.
Yeah, so far these players from the Braves side and the fans in general, a lot of frustration can be seen just by the performance so far by the Braves. Maybe not living up to the standards of the fans, but credit to the Kings playing extremely well so far, keeping their composure on both offensive and defensive end. And it seems like that injury on Singletary on that twisted ankle was just kind of the straw that broke the camel's back in terms of all this emotion just flooding out. And you know, it's good to see players have emotion, but you know, there's limits to everything, and getting technicals and things like that definitely hurts your team more than helps it. And you know, just gives some free throws on the other end and gets the ball back to the Kings' hand, and every single point matters right now.
JJ will miss at the line, though. I don't know if on the Kings side that's the smartest choice to put somebody at the line, though. Looks like he'll take the second one too. There will be some changes to personnel on the floor, though. The Braves mostly sticking with their younger core between TJ, Jack, and KJ out there.
We see at this point in the game, maybe just trying to get some more playing time for some of the other guys, get some more experience, as maybe this game might be too far away, but definitely seeing some tight defense there.
Driving kick from the Kings as Lee again on the pump fake, trying the shot after, increasing the difficulty for himself as transition play for the Braves. There's a foul by Ling Jingbang on the perimeter. So again, the closeout and the slightest of hip checks.
So the Braves here try to get into an offense.
JJ's way deep, but it's a bad miss. TJ, look what I found, put that.
Maybe we'll see a spark of energy here from this young core from the Braves, and could see a little bit of a run going, but of course the Kings trying to do everything in their power to make sure that doesn't happen here.
Manny Galt jump pass. Kyle, again, struggling to find rhythm after those 2 buckets early in the game. Now iced up on KJ. Manny Galt, they say he didn't get it off in time.
Probably one of the best stretches of defense we've seen from the Braves so far this game. As we see Singletary come back into the game, I guess, fueled up on some energy here. Really wanting to show his team he's ready to come play and try to take over and bring the Braves back here with the last 7.5 minutes left in this game.
Again, to borrow a baseball kind of concept, even you might be down big, maybe your short-term goal is to force the opposing team to make some changes as a nice tic-tac-toe to Chen Xiangjun down low. And here's kind of the number 3 best reliever for the Kings, a timeout. I heard the buzzer go off, 7:15 left. It'll be a stoppage for both teams to talk it over as they figure out how they want to finish this one up with 7 to go.
全部是这样子哦，你只要看到你的人，你看不到他的就被卡，就给进去。我要去要罚球。好，然后这边因为这样走，我们全部都是小的，注意啊，这个进来的时候，这边的人他以为站比较高，这个 corner 的人，他走这边一律就是被斗卡，这个人不要比爱。你看这边这个走这个被斗卡，所以如果你这边拿到球，他跟着你就给这个。要不然停住，所以速度要打快一点。每一个过来，如果祥军
Game 5 is Monday, 7 p.m. at Xinzhuang Gymnasium. There's Chris Tsai, general manager for the Braves, finally dethroned by Chen of the Pilots after Chris won the title back-to-back years, though right now need to be wary of the water ball thrown onto the floor, as we see Singletary go right to the crew chief for the call actually being a travel. And then on the end of it, it was Beast who received the bench technical. And given the screaming and shouting he did from the bench afterwards, probably lucky to stay in the game. Though technically, a second bench technical wouldn't throw him out. It would put Roger in a lot more hot water. In any case, Joseph getting the screen from Davis, hanging on to it, but that one's blocked out of his hands. Lucky ricochet to Manigault, but he's only got 4 seconds left. Trying to power on Josh. Tap of the basketball is saved by the Braves. Singletary's got a weird angle. He tries for 3, and that one's no good.
Another great defensive possession from the Braves. They're really putting a lot of pressure here on the Kings. They just got to find some touches on the offensive end.
Looks like Singletary called for the personal, bumping into Q there. Definitely was a little concerned about Michael Singletary going down on the fast break if he needed to go right up against a defender. And that one we saw in the replay, a little bit more of what I call the excuse me foul, running into Quincy Davis.
Yeah, for sure, just a little bump into him. Enough for the foul, so gives the Kings a chance to run an out of bounds play here.
Manigault on the trail. He'll try the line drive. Chen Xiang brushes it out of bounds.
Another opportunity here from the Kings.
Words exchanged. Well, the referees will let cooler heads prevail, hopefully. Now they space it out. Joe trying to get the basketball. Off the handoff. Over to Amigo on the right side. His 3, but it's halfway down and out. The Braves kind of catch a break as this deep pass. KJ can only bounce it inbounds.
Missed opportunity there, maybe added a little bit too much.
And now Ling Jingbang called for the illegal screen, trying to clear a lane for Joseph. And Ling Jingbang is not exactly had the most positive impact on the floor, and now taking away 2 points from Joseph Lin, who's trying to argue the layup went up before the screen, and not going to win that argument.
Yeah, definitely not. Started fairly early when Joseph was about at the free throw line, as you see KJ here line up a shot.
That one drops through. Don't look now, but the Kings lead is down to 12. Now Mullins back in. He issues the screen, crashed into, and will have to earn it from the line. And if that foul is on Singletary, which he was there on the bottom, the back line, it'll be his 5th. But previously, the 3-point made after the turnover by the Kings, and you see Singletary dutifully coming down, but just a beat too late.
He's got to be extremely careful here with his 5 fouls. He's being fairly productive here in this last quarter. He's being everywhere he needs to be on defense and giving a little spark on the offensive end, but I can easily be taken away with the one more, silly foul. So we got to be careful here and look for the Kings to really attack Singletary now, as they know he can't foul anymore.
Josh working in the mid-range, takes a deep 2, and a foul first, as Chen Xiang had good position. Similarly, that could be the way to go for the Braves, is have Chen Xiangjun, especially rolling hard to the basket, whether getting the catch back or having an advantageous position on the rebound.
Able to grab a rebound over 3 Kings defenders there. So you see Michael Singletary taking a seat on the bench here.
Now the Braves can work in one of their best rotations. Zaitsev at center, Chen Xiangjun at power forward. Surrounded by TJ, Josh, and KJ. At least if you're looking for the inexperienced squad.
Some very good free throw shooting from both teams so far, which is nice to see.
In the previous game, a combined, what is this number? 38 for 45. The two teams in game 3 as Big Sushi is in there. Pressured right away by Chen Xiangjun. As the double comes over, he coughs it up. And a foul right away. More free throws coming up for the Braves. Josh Zokoyers timing that double up perfectly.
That's just great awareness there by the Braves, knowing not necessarily a ball handler, and right as he crossed half courts, just really trapping him and spun right into that double team and got a foul on the play. So free throws for both teams now.
Zokoyers short
on any more fouls, so keep that in mind as his lead is diminishing very, very quickly.
The second one doesn't make the adjustment, but long rebound to Joe. He brings over the timeline fast as the double comes. He dribbles away from it. They don't have to hurry. Lee Kai-in, an early 3. That one's bounced to Zaitsev.
The trap the Kings don't want to get into is thinking that they have to play, fastball all the time. They still have a pretty sizable lead. They just got to make sure to hold on to it.
Clutching in the air and a miss by KJ as Zaitsev can't finish it off for 3. But 5 minutes left in the game. You feel like it's plenty of time for the Braves to close the gap.
Plenty of basketball left to be played, and the Kings taking a more cautious approach now.
Winning pass, lucky to get it to Amigo. The through pass, and it's right to the hands of KJ. And the Kings offense is falling apart. Josh feeling it, he tries from 3, and it's an air ball as TJ could not save it in bounds.
We've seen in the second, third, and fourth quarter, there's little stretches from the Kings where they're just really not mentally focused and mentally prepared to play basketball. And it seems like we're in one of those stretches right now, and the Braves are taking full advantage of it. So other than the first quarter, the Kings slipping a little bit in a few minutes of each quarter. So we'll see if they're able to bounce back and hold on to this lead here.
Joe loose with the handles, and it'll be a jump ball. And once again, it's TJ who tied him up in game 2 down the stretch. This time before even putting the ball on the hardwood. Well, I guess he did, but inadvertently.
The Braves definitely not giving up right now. They know how close it is and how obtainable it is, and just giving every single effort they can on the defensive end is exactly how they're going to get back into this ball game. Try to get a couple of quick steals, take it the other way, and it's, less than a 10-point game if they're able to execute.
Beast is in for TJ after his effort. Ball out of bounds, and the referee's having a little conference. It'll stay with the Kings after getting a little bit of help from the trailing official. Joseph on the post-up to Leitinga, leaving Amigo wide open down the middle. He clanks it. Quincy Davis in there for the board. And this time, the Kings following my partner's advice and slowing it up. The screen and the double team. Amigo jump pass despite being open, and Kyle steps out of bounds. He has not had a good game at all.
Seen that happen a lot, just on the baseline here, just not really sure exactly where they are, and stepping out of bounds is definitely not something you want as the Kings, as it seems like the Braves have a little bit of momentum.
Loose ball going back, and it will be a backcourt violation. Don't know why the Kings were emotional, but it will be their basketball. Oh, you need every possession. A bad turnover. You see it popped off the leg of the thigh of Zaisev. Obviously, the trick is if it touched Lee Kai-yin, it could be a touch. They say no, but of course, if you're the Kings, be aware you only have 14 seconds on the shot clock. Keegan trying to pressure Joe. Trying to force him away from the screen, which switches. Ball deflects, but Amigo has a midi coming up, and it rolls through. An important basket for the Kings to calm things down.
A little over 3 minutes left. The Kings are able to, if they choose to, run down the shot clock and really eliminate the amount of possessions left this game can have.
Slip pass as Amigo was fouled on the jumping contest. Let's see if he can recover for these free throws. He took a big shot there. Zaisev had just the slightest window on the offensive end, but chose to put it on the floor. If not for a travel or a double dribble, he coughed it up anyways. Amigo's first free throw is in. Minutes to go. With this free throw, the Kings could hit the century mark. They do.
It's the first time in this final so far that a team has reached 100 points, and that just shows how well Kings are doing offensively tonight.
Singletary short with that three. A little bit of calm, probably draining the energy of the Braves in this comeback effort, as Lai Tian will head to the bench. For TJ, this is definitely a huge mark in the credit to the rookie who's in there for his two-way effort, even over a 5 or 6 year vet like Lai Tian. Kyle aims up a three, that one's short. Singletary back in the game, he missed that three. Now going to the other side, Jokoyu, his good bud, streaking down the left side, lays it in, so not over yet. Of course, down by 14 is a very tall task with only 2.5 minutes to go, but this is perhaps what we could say the Kings bringing in their second best reliever. The analogy being, and from baseball, is, of course, down by big margin, if you can force the opposing team to bring in their best reliever or closer, you kind of already can give yourself a victory. As look, no timeouts left by the Kings. They do have their 30-second timeout at under 2 minutes. Coach Marchand partly refocused timeout more so than anything.
At the end of the day, our goal is still 93. They don't get above 93. This is what I want to be in. I just want to be in single the rest of the way.
Coach Marchand showing off the board a little bit, saying he wants lots of space for the team, and of course, good free throw shooting in Amigo, and in this game by Byron Mullins would be able to do the trick if they space it up enough, because the Braves, their young lineup, obviously a lot of energy, but not a ton of length. So deflections might be a little bit hard to come by if the Kings space it out.
saw in that last possession, the Braves really got too easy of a layup there, which only took like a couple of seconds off the clock. And that's something the Kings really need to work on, is getting back on, you know, maybe these quick shots, long rebounds, because these layups take very little time in transition. And if you're the Kings, you want to really make the Braves earn it. You want to have them go deep into the shot clock, take a lot of time off of this game as we see full court pressure, but pretty light full court pressure, just making sure it's difficult for the Kings to get in their offense.
Amigo flashes through the middle, but Mullins and Joe, the main guys in the pick and roll. Davis at the high post, pressured by Singletary as he commits the travel. 5 seconds left on the shot clock. Certainly would have liked to at least got a shot off.
And we see here.
And the other way real quick is a score. I think before the Kings even got back on defense. Don't see that very often. Amigo flying pass.
Kings just got to handle the pressure and make sure not to throw the ball away. You don't want to turn it over and have an easy transition layup on the other end. So
Joe going left. The double comes as Josh. One man to beat. He does have support. Taking it himself and getting the bucket. Number 8, Zogwei. He's had a much better second half. And with 97 seconds left in the game, the lead is down to 10. The double comes and Mullins flips it to Q. He lays it in. And a timeout by the Braves, as probably want to advance the basketball and consider a change in personnel if they want to. Definitely can give them a lot of credit for getting these stops, transitioning into scores on the other side. And we talk about the lack of focus by the Kings in stretches in their losses. Well, what initially seemed like a sure-handed win, they've also had that happen the same. This time is Zogwei again gambling on the help on the double team and succeeding and having enough legs to finish over Lee Kai-yin, who's an excellent leaper, despite maybe only being 180 centimeters. In the fourth quarter, I think one ingredient that's definitely been missing for the Braves in this comeback effort is only 1 for 6 3-point shooting, whereas they were 4 for 8 in the third quarter. Obviously, it might be an oversimplification of what's going on the floor. I think all the coaches will point out only 16 points allowed is a decent mark, but if they want to get back in this game, that needed to be more or less like 10.
Yeah, right now, they keep doing the same thing they do and scoring very efficiently on these, transitions, these fast breaks. That's still 6 possessions that you got to get, and with 1 minute and 26 left, it's very difficult, I would think. And this is just assuming the Kings don't score at all on the other end. So you're going to have to put up a couple of threes. I know they haven't been shooting the 3-ball extremely well throughout this entire game, but it's the quickest way to get there. And, with a 12-point deficit with 1.5 minutes, you're going to have to take some shots from beyond the arc to cut this gap a little faster.
He's getting it back, but missing the 3 short as the pressure doesn't come. Allow the Kings to bring over the timeline as Joe getting the hands of Singletary. At least it's going to be a jump ball. Joseph Lin trying to argue for something, but it looked to me that he was the one that dropped it initially in the face of Michael Singletary's defense. Might need another look at what's going on. The brush of the hand, I mean, there's not no contact, but he's certainly taking it a lot more casually than he should be.
This late of the game, you don't want to possibly get a tech for arguing too much if you're up 12 anyways. You see a nice cut there.
Assist to Josh, 2 points for TJ as now Manigolf's in the game, bringing it over the timeline.
The key for the Kings here, just do not turn the ball over and just burn as much time as they can.
With 10 seconds left, Joe fires away and drains the three. A little bit of a makeup as you get to see a little bit of blood on his lip from that last fall. Don't know if it's from the opponent or I saw Amigo also get his hand in there. Possible friendly fire happening.
Plenty of time there. Pretty much just target practice at that point. Little words to the Braves bench there on that nice three. But I think that might be the nail on the coffin as 13 points left, 45 seconds. This is a tall task for anyone to come back from.
Beast will head to the bench. Notable slight limp in his step, but he has, of course, in the first half and the third quarter of the game, shouldered most of the scoring load as Singletary. He's going to get fouled there.
Extend this game a little bit more. Get a couple more free throws in for Singletary.
That's his 13th point of the game. Also has 13 rebounds and 8 assists, but I'm sure he's not so happy with 1 for 10 three-point shooting, including that last one.
Definitely gonna
short
have to shoot
plank
better.
and previously a few air balls as alley-oop to TJ. With 30 seconds left, need a miracle. KJ fires it away. That one's true. For a little bit of excitement left in this sold-out crowd. Deep inbounds to Manigault, up ahead to Amigo. He'll have that one blocked by Singletary. They don't call goaltending as KJ. Foot on the line, that one's in and out. And Quincy Davis will play keep away. Even an 8-second violation might not be the worst thing in the world. Joe will lay it in for, I guess, for some safety.
Definitely could have just waited out that 5 seconds, but you know, gets the bucket nonetheless as Braves hold it out as this game is over.
Was a hero, but now having some words with the home fans. Joseph Lin will be joining his team huddle as they have, if you just look at a game-to-game basis, accomplished their goal of getting this victory. And overall in the series, of course, getting a game on the road when there was 2, at least good enough to force the series to 6. Now, which way it will fall, we'll have to see. But in the end, a 107-97 victory for the new Taipei Kings, who kind of boat raced the Braves more or less in the first half. While the Braves had very strong stretches in the second half, they've also had their lapses, but overall, just completely letting the Kings dictate the game in the opening salvo and keeping that advantage in the second quarter right till the end of that buzzer. And of course they, yes, selectively in the second half played smart in stretches, hit enough of their shots when they needed to. So the Kings definitely have things to take away, but the Braves probably should be frustrated themselves for the performance they turned in at home.
You know, we've seen the Kings be extremely aggressive in the first half, but as we see the Braves outscored them in the second half, so we'll have to see how that goes as we get a Joseph interview.
Asked about the adjustments from game to game.
打得比较强力一点，我们今天当然如果我们输就3比1就很难回来，所以今天就比较强力一点。
Joe saying didn't want to face a 3-1 deficit. They came out and played much harder.
我觉得一个很大的原因就是他们上一个小洋将跟大洋将没有像前2场就2个大，所以我觉得这个部分就一定会改变。
Joe simply stating factually that the Braves changed to a small and a big import. Asked about the assist and passing of the Kings
我们有
leading
讲
to
过，就
success.
前2场我们的助攻很少，所以跟第1场差很多。所以如果我们可以把助攻拉起来，就是我们国王的打法。
He also stated factually they did talk about the assist numbers, and if they can push that one up, they'll see some success. Now asked about the interaction with the Braves fans at home.
没有，我就觉得到后面有一点开始乱掉，然后有点难看，然后我觉得裁判的部分就是可能2边都不爽，so 我觉得就是一个气氛吧，对啊。Yeah, just
Joe admitting it was a little bit messy in the end, and perhaps both teams not happy with officiating.
So,
and
you know, that's where the emotions come from.
然后再说他要保护他的队友。
当然回去 home court 就是比较就 home court advantage 啊，他们头1场在我们那边，然后我们到和平就头1场，所以回到平手，然后就是我们拿 home court advantage.
The road teams have won on the road, and now with a best of 3 coming up, the Kings have home court advantage. If it will reach a Game 7 especially. Well, those odd number games in the series, obviously a big swing because you win one of those, the other team needs to win 2, but the even numbered games also important. Of course, in this case, we have a tied series. We'll go to break before wrapping things up in our post-game coverage here at Hudson Gymnasium. The series is tied up as the new Taipei Kings, after dropping 2 straight games in this series, really come out guns blazing with a strong first half and eventually holding on to the victory, as the Braves did mount a pretty healthy comeback effort, but in the end fell short. There's the combined team statistics where the Kings, one of the keys is still maintain their rebounding edge throughout the game, and in fact 27 assists is also an impressive mark, making the Braves go one-on-one a lot, though they did turn the ball over 24 times there on the bottom of the combined team stats. So like we said in the previous segment, both teams with a lot of takeaways, a lot of things they want to improve, and while we don't have a lot of series left, if it's fast, it'll be over in 6, but if it goes to 7, there's only 3 games left in the season for both teams to try to fight through whatever imperfections they have in their current play or in their current roster situations. Somehow you got to get it done here in the finals, the series that will determine the champion of the season.
Yeah, like we mentioned pre-game, we're talking about, you know, Johnson not being in the lineup currently and the rebounds that might be taken away from him. And one of the keys for the Kings was to just win that rebounding game, getting both those offensive rebounds to putbacks and have some easy points. But one of the key factors, I think, today was the 41.9% three-point shooting by the Kings. A lot of those balls went in the basket for them today and gave them just enough an advantage to come away with this victory today.
So Game 5 will be Monday night at 7 p.m. Again, it's a pretty quick turnaround with only tomorrow for a day of recovery. And with the series tied at 2 apiece and the final stretch of games, Kings home, Braves home, and then Kings home. Not that travel's a big deal. This is the MRT series after all. But again, the rest and recovery will be big. So always will be curious as to which players come out with the energy. But if for the Brave side, if they want to make another adjustment with their import selection. And certainly for both teams is their emotional control. And with a few moments left, we need to remind the fans, you need to have your composure as nothing is allowed to be thrown on the floor, and obviously want to be responsible for your own choice of words when you're in the arena or if you're in personal life. Well, some highlights from the individual performances. Josh ended up leading the Braves with 19 points. He definitely looked like a leader out there and a very plus defender like he's made out to be. On the other side, Byron Mullins, 28 points. Joseph with another 20-point effort led the Kings on their winning side. Well, thanks, Kyle, for joining us on this broadcast. We have way more basketball left. So on behalf of the 6 teams in the league and league operations, Xiaohu, Mark, Mingsu, and Momo, thanks for watching. I've been Ryan Chen. We'll see you in the next one.